14 years. 14 years is how old this camera has been alive. I don't even know if a lot of you guys watching this video are even that old. If you're younger than 14 years, you're probably too young for this. You can use this low budget camera. Well, it's not even low budget. When it came out, as a matter of fact, it was about $4,000. The production value of this camera at this moment is about $400. That's how much I got it for. But you can find this at, depending the deal, eBay, Amazon. As a matter of fact, we'll talk about this later on, so stay tuned of where you can find these. I'll go into my phone, do some research. So the first pro of this camera that I want to talk to you guys about is the budget. Again, I just said that it was about $400 for me. A budget camera does not mean that you have to spend no money. You do have to spend and invest some money. For the value that this camera offers you, $300, $400 is nothing. I'm talking about the body. Now, a lot of these accessories, I would call them, because lenses could be seen as accessories. The camera is part of the lens, and the lens is part of the camera. You need one and the other. Depending on what kind of lens you have and what kind of camera you have, you're going to create a kind of style and image that you combine both of those, right? So with that said, you're going to have to find the specific lenses that you want. For instance, I purchased the 50 millimeter. It's a portrait lens. It allows you to do specific portrait photos. But how do I use it? If you're creative enough, you can take your photography business, if you're doing weddings, and make it into a styled photo where now the weddings look as a portrait or like an Instagram account versus a digital. I mean, yes, there's a lot of different themes, documentary theme, but now you can create an Instagram kind of wedding type with just a DSLR. Another good thing about this camera is the full frame capabilities. Now this comes hand in hand with the 12 megapixel that I'm gonna talk about right now. Now full frame is better than a micro four thirds. Everybody knows that. And even if you do have a micro four thirds camera, you can always put a meta bones to extend that and make it look full frame. Now, if you don't have that, this camera for the price, I mean, if you're not gonna go anywhere looking for professional full frame camera under that kind of price. And the reason it's that price is because this is the first series of professional cameras that Canon came out with in 2005. As a matter of fact, it's called the Canon Mark One. Going back to another pro of this camera, I love it. It's comparing it with other cameras that I've used in the past. It's one of the best pros, the battery life. Now, comparing with other video cameras that shoot video and have screens that you want to watch things live, it's going to use a lot more battery power. So in this particular case, this is a photography camera. You have an optical viewfinder, which it's an optical viewfinder. You don't need any battery power except when you're going to see the final result, obviously when you push play and see your photos. And that's it. That itself is going to save you so much time. Now, again, we're going to talk about the drawback that it's only for photography. It does not have to be a drawback. If you love photography and that's what you want to do, this is the perfect camera for you. It's not even a drawback if it's a photography camera. Because a photography camera that has a 12 megapixels, which is the next thing that I was talking about. The 12 megapixels, 12.8 megapixels that this camera has is going to give you an allowed dynamic range. I was talking to my homie Warner Graham. Shout out from Warner. Are you there? So the 12 megapixel camera is going to allow you to get those dynamic range, those highlights, those shadows. It's going to make it look more cinematic, like a actual film camera. Like I said, going back to the Instagram look versus the digital look or documentary look, this is going to give you that film look. And that's what you're looking for when you're doing those cinematic photos that look like film. Now, the last thing I love about this camera is the Pro build. The Pro build is comparable with any kind of Rebel. Obviously, the Rebel is not a professional camera, but it compared to this camera, I've had some experiences where I've used both, and you hit the wall or you hit something, and you can feel confident when you have the Canon 5D Mark I that when you hit a wall, the interior of the camera is structurally safe and it's able to keep your storage. Now, there's not all cameras can do that. Like, for instance, a phone, you feel weird with phones. Like, you drop your phone and then you feel everything's gone and maybe it's cracked. But with this camera, you see a drop or you feel it. You see something. You can't compare a little SUV with the Hummer. You know which one's gonna get wrecked in a crash. So you understand the heftiness of this camera, and that could be a drawback going to the next one. The starting, as a matter of fact, ending with the positive, because it could be positive that having this camera weigh more could be a drawback, but to me, I love that it may be heavier. I may have to carry more, but it feels safer. Now, starting, I'm gonna use that as a starting point with the negative and the cons. A lot of people don't like that. They think they need a run and gun. And as a matter of fact, this could be a run and gun camera if you have a pancake lens, something even a 50 millimeter lens, but something better, a pancake lens would work, and you can go everywhere. Now it is a little bit heavier because of the heftiness, but I think it's a perfect thing. Another con about this camera is the CF card use. Now, a lot of people have SD cards with Rebels and other cameras, but you are going to have to purchase some CF cards. That could be a good thing or a bad thing depending on who you are. Now, another big drawback about this camera, and I don't know, again, it does not shoot video. If you're a videographer, I recommend going purchasing a Rebel if you're looking for an entry camera, photo and video. But this camera does not have video capabilities or video mode like the Rebels or other series of Mark series. Now, the thing that I do like about it is that it allows you, in the whole camera, it allows you to focus on photography, and this could be good. I'm saying this could be good. I'm gonna be putting the photos so you guys can see how it can be good. It doesn't all have to be about video. You can always purchase a video camera and help you. But if you're focusing on photo, this is a perfect camera. Again, going back, it has a full frame, 12.8 megapixels. It's a perfect camera for the price. Another drawback for a lot of people is the articulating screen. Now, people are looking for screens that are rotating and looking sideways, left and right, mostly up and down if you're holding it up or down. Now the thing with this camera is that you're gonna not gonna have that. Again, you do not have video, so you may not need that in that particular matter. Photos, you may not even do that because you can't even shoot live and you're looking through an optical viewfinder where you're taking the picture, like I referenced with the battery. Flash. This camera right here does not have flash, and it's not because they didn't want to put it there too lazy. It's because a lot of professional cameras uh, do not have flashes, and I was explaining that the reason they don't have flashes is because professional photographers don't need internal flashes. They use strobes and flashes and triggers that are separately controlled, and I don't see a professional using unmounted flash. All right, guys. So now I'm gonna help you guys real quick. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. Woo! I don't know. I don't know. Cause I'm stuck. All right, guys. So I'm gonna show you guys. Search a little bit here. I'm gonna go on Google. Okay, so we're here on Google and we type in Canon 5D Classic, or you can put Canon 5D Mark 1. It's going to take you to the listing. If you go to the shopping, as you can see, it's going to take you to the a listing of a bunch of cameras. Now, you can see the great deals already. This camera, I bought it from a photographer that was a wedding photographer, and she only used it as a secondary camera. She sold it to me for about $400 just a body, and it was in great conditions. This is the second time I bought this camera, and compared to the first time I bought it, the first time it was $350, but it was in bad conditions. It was a primary camera for the first guy, and it was beat up. By the 6 month, it died. So I had to buy this one. This one was in way better condition. So I'm telling you, if you look right here, there's a couple of cameras that they look good, but you really have to read the listing because there's a lot of specs that may not be listed. And when you look at the photos or when it comes home and you don't like the camera, like for instance, I like the camera. When I purchased the first camera, I just purchased out of emotion. I need this camera. It's the only one in San Diego. I couldn't find anything. As a matter of fact, this camera is rare, and that's why when I found this one, I thought the camera was rare. This specific camera is rare because it was in good conditions. It was a first time owner. It was taken care of. It looked brand new, and it was like a low mile. It was like a rental. It was pretty much like a low mile car. They didn't even use it, anyways. But if you look down here, you're not gonna have anything higher than 400. I don't see anything 400. Oh, I see 339 used, and that's fine. That's good. I see 299. If you can see right here, 299. That's fine. 325 used. 403. That one comes. Let's look at that one. I like that one because it comes with 3 battery packs. Four. Mine came with four too. I lost all of them except one. I don't know what they're at. It comes with 3 chargers. You can see right here 3 chargers. Let's look at a couple photos of these. But as you can see, you can buy a lot of these cameras for really, really cheap. Later on, I'll be talking more about where you can find other cheaper cameras that give higher production value. And I say production value because this camera, you can sell $1,000 gig out of a $300, $400 camera. How do you do that? Is that you use what has been used professionally. Um, I'm trying to say, for instance, if you're trying to purchase like a Red One, is the same thing. It's the first Red that Red made, and it has the same. It's the same idea. It doesn't have everything, but it gives you that professional look for really, really cheap as an entry camera compared to other cameras. You can purchase Alexa here and there. I think I'm getting off topic. Now we're talking about video cameras. As a matter of fact, link to the video camera, Rebel T3i. So I think you guys saw enough. That's pretty much it. You guys can find your own cameras. This camera itself, again, this is a telephoto, 70 to 300 millimeter Tamron, badass camera. But with this telephoto, I only used it a couple times. If you're using gadgets, if you're doing nature photography, again, a lot of times all this stuff comes with the camera. If it does not come with the lens, it probably just with the body. Doesn't matter. Put it together. Figure out what it is you need. I do have more videos, more content, so you guys can figure it out. Maybe either by yourself or watching other people. I am planning a course. I'm planning to give a lot of good content. I know you guys like these videos. Now, if you like this video, please hit like because it's going to help me. And that's it for today, guys. Thank you for joining in. My name is Alfonso Elias Solis today. Till next time, woo! I'm out.